So, game 2 of the NBA Finals happened, and it was some great hoops, so let us digest. I'm still absolutely obsessed with Across the Spider-Verse, so I'm sorry if I seem a little off. It is because I am a little off. I can't stop thinking about that movie, man. It was so special, but let me try to digest this Finals game, as it was pretty special in and of itself. And we had Kevin Love starting in place of Caleb Martin, who was dealing with an illness and played less minutes tonight. Still, he had one big shot in that fourth quarter, as he always does, man. I think every fourth quarter he makes a big shot, except the last game, but when he takes it, he usually makes it. That's what I'm trying to say here. Anyhow, Kevin Love starting was not only because of Caleb's illness, but it was obviously the major reason, but also in part of wanting more size on the floor. And they put Jimmy Butler on Jamal Murray and tried to take Jamal from the game. And it was clear as hell that it was their game plan to take away Jamal Murray, knowing that Jokić was going to be great, get his no matter what. And if they somehow neutralize Jamal, they have a better shot of winning than when they try to, take away scoring from Jokić, because he's always gonna score, but you need to take away the passing. You need to take one poison, whether it's scoring or passing. It can go like he has 27 points and 14 assists. It's much better if he has 40 points and 4 assists, just like he did tonight. And they forced Jokić to take and make tough shots and took away passing lanes as much as possible and lived with Jokić being the scorer. It is a little casual eye.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. It's just...
But it's clear that that's what was happening, man. And what I like is that they always try to put off Jamal Murray. They try to throw some full court pressure on him from time to time, just to throw him off, just to have him unsettled. But let's start with the first quarter, where Max Strus was great. He bounced back early with those 4 3-pointers to set the tone, and they created way more looks. They were looking to drive and kick a lot, and they created a lot of good 3-point shots, and they shot the ball really well, as they have been doing all postseason. And with more rest and more time in Denver, it was clear that they were locked in way more than they were in game 1. And I still feel like I wanted a little more aggressiveness from Jimmy and Bam towards contact, because I still think they avoided a lot of contact, and Jimmy did not want to go aggressively into the hoop, but I guess he's preserving his body a little more, and his whole purpose throughout the first 3 quarters was to take away Jamal Murray as much as possible and create for others through his playmaking, which he did, and he did that really well. So shoutouts to Jimmy for that. And a lot of the looks also came from Denver's side on defense and their mental lapses, man. Whether it was Jamal Murray from time to time, KCP did not have his best night. He had those 2 fouls on shooters, shooting 3-pointers, which was rough. Then you had Michael Porter Jr., who was just rough all around, missing assignments, not switching well, also just not communicating well probably, and he had one of his worst nights in a long time, man. I don't remember when Michael Porter Jr. looked this rough. I don't know, man. It's been a long time, actually, so a rough night from him. I'm expecting him to bounce back well in game 3. In the second quarter, with no Jokić on the floor, funny enough, it was Christian Braun and Jeff Green with Jamal Murray, who did not have Jimmy Butler on him, creating a lot of pressure on Miami. They turned the ball over a lot, which allowed Denver to go into transition, and they absolutely demolished them with no Jokić on the floor. They actually were like plus 13 without Jokić on the floor in that second quarter, which is crazy. And I was thinking, yeah, this is over. Christian Braun even gave them like really great minutes. He was great hustling out there, made some good shots actually even, and he was great defensively. But as it usually is in these type of situation, it is a game of run, man, and Miami just does not care going down 10 points, man. They are accustomed to that, man. They just, hey, man, we're chilling, and they continue to execute their strategy, continue to trust their shooters, who were on point tonight, like I said. And heading into the second half, it was pretty much not a tie game, but Denver had a small lead, which meant nothing essentially. And Jokić, being a scorer, continued in that third quarter, where he had that coast to coast, and his touch around the rim is just phenomenal. One of the best ever, probably. He is just so special. And it was the 3-point shooting keeping the Heat in this game, and Gabe Vincent made so many big shots tonight. He was spectacular. And the Heat overall were plus 18 from downtown. They won the battle. off the 3-point line, which is crucial for them, and they kept the free throws close, which about the referees, I'm not gonna talk about it. It was fairly officiated by their rules. I think they set the tone weirdly, but they continued to execute it throughout the night. So even though the game kind of was not sure if brought down, I would say, but it kind of had some bad moments due to the officiating. I don't think the officiating was bad for any side. I thought it was kind of fairly officiated. Still, heading into the fourth quarter, I loved Denver's chances, but then Duncan Robinson entered the chat and he scored all of his 10 points in the fourth quarter, created some points by just being on the floor, virtue of some of those defensive lapses by Denver, and he was just so hot to start the fourth quarter, and he was out there flexing and mean mugging. So yeah, that's what Miami needs, I suppose. Game 7 against Celtics, now game 2 in Denver. That boy is mean mugging and flexing, the Heat are gonna win. And then Jimmy came into the game with a lead, and he had a really bad turnover. I was really baffled by it, and I thought like, man, is something going on with him? But he did turn it up, scored 8 points in that fourth quarter, and was still really good defensively, even though Jamal got going, but it was a little too late. He still had a shot to tie the game in that fourth quarter, despite him pretty much catching fire just in the nick of time, but it was not just in the nick of time. I don't know. Yeah, but the Heat went into the zone once again, and the Nuggets, one of the best teams against the zone, did not figure it out tonight, man. Tonight they were not great against the zone, and something about that Miami zone and those perfect rotations and just great defense. You live with Jokic tough 2-pointers, and they overall lived with tough 2-pointers, man. They were just living with Denver taking tough mid-range jumpers, and it was not falling for Denver. And like I said, Jamal Murray got going a little too late, had a shot to tie it, could not make it. Could have called a timeout. I don't know. Let me know. Do you think Mike Malone should have called a timeout? I'm not sure. I guess I would have called it because it usually doesn't go well unless you're Steph Curry, and I don't remember it going well. These types of possessions going well when you don't call a timeout, but I guess they just did not want Miami to set their defense, but they still had a lot of time to do that. So yeah, it was weird. But we are now headed tight into Miami, Denver's first loss at home all postseason, which is crazy. And let me not forget about Kyle Lowry. That man was out there pushing the pace at 37 years old all the time and making the right plays. He was spectacular. I need to shout out Kyle Lowry. Can't forget about him. He was great in that fourth quarter and overall in this series so far. Can't wait for next game, even though it's on Wednesday, which it already felt like it was ages since game 1, but it might be just my brain constantly thinking about Spider-Verse because I'm so obsessed with that movie and Miles and Gwen and their relationships and Peter B. Parker and Hobie and everyone, and I cannot help myself. Yeah, I'm going to see it again tomorrow. Then we have game 3 on Wednesday, so I'll hit you up with something before that. Probably we'll see. I have a lot of stuff going on with school, so I'll try to put some video up before game 3, but if not, then excuse me and go watch Spider-Verse. Give me 7 games of this NBA Finals. Give me as many Spider-Verse movies and stories from the team that is making it possible, please. And love and peace.